You're listening to the only multimedia FM station in Houston, Texas. Your Fusion Radio. Top 40s, dance, Latin, country, pop, rock and roll. All in one station. Mixing genres and generations. You're listening to KNLY, New Waverly, Texas. 91.1 FM, The Boss.
The program presented are submitted by members of our community and are a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM. The views expressed do not necessarily reflect those of KNLY 91.1 FM and its affiliates.
And happy Friday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Friday. It's Today with Cachet. It was so funny. The other day I pulled up my resume, and y'all are wondering why am I talking about my resume, but I pulled it up and I thought to myself, oh my God, I've done some stuff. I was just overlooking it and going, I went through and da-da-da-da-da, and I thought to myself, wow, I've done some things. So the reason I bring that up is because today we're going to be talking about resumes, and we're going to be talking about jobs and all those things that everybody always talks about. You know, what's out there? Should I stay in my job? What's going on? And in the studio this morning, I want to welcome, I have the wonderful Linda Fields with Medor Staffing Services. So you know what I was looking at. I mean, I sat there thinking, God, I've done a lot of things. We got to talk about resumes. We got to talk about jobs, because that's a huge topic. Just, I mean, welcome. Yeah. Good morning.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
And so we've already been talking off air, obviously.
We have, yes.
Because, but anyway, so we share that similar background. I mean, I don't know if people out there know or not, but for a few years, I actually did recruiting, did sales, and was actually division director of management in that. And so nothing like what we can say over here, your title as a VP of Executive Search.
Yes.
So she's taken it up a whole nother level.
Yeah.
So can you tell everyone a little bit about your background and a little bit more about Medor?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Medor is a privately held company. We've been around since 1968.
Wow. And
we have 5 local offices with one in the Woodlands.
Okay.
And we staff, we do direct hire staffing, we do light industrial, admin support, temporary, we do the professional contract.
Okay.
Basically, we do everything from the C-level all the way to the executive admin and down from there.
So you cover it all.
We do. And, we're also part of several local and national networks, so we've got about 500 staffing partners.
Wow, that's huge.
We do. And, I like to think that we're small enough that we can have those relationships with customers, and continue to build and grow those and find them what they're looking for.
Which is important.
Yeah, but we're still large enough that we have all the right protocols in place.
You can make a phone call anytime you need.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what's huge. And it's relationships.
It is relationships.
And
it's
we know
all
that,
about
right?
Yeah.
And so when you talk about 36 years.
Yeah.
That's kind of, you need to talk about that a little bit. What has changed? What from when you first started in the staffing world, and you don't have to be, we'll let you say what you want, but till now, I mean, what are the big changes? I mean, what are you seeing? Yeah.
When I first came in staffing, we didn't have fax machines, so you had to hand deliver the resumes.
Okay.
And then we got fax machines. We were so excited because we could fax the resumes over, and then from there, of course, we've gone to computers, and I think a lot of what's changed is that. When I first came in staffing, it was about the interviewer sitting there and just being asked the questions, and now I think it's more of a conversation. I think that the candidate looking for a job is more involved with the process.
Right.
Whereas I think in the beginning that wasn't the case.
Sure.
You would just sit there and of course back then everyone wore the skirts and the hose and so that's all changed as well.
It's not so stiff anymore. Now it's time to get a little more comfortable. Learn each other and kind of roll with that. And and also the other thing I would ask you in the arena of staffing, and we're in Houston. right?
Yeah, right.
How would you say, as far as the jobs, just are we sitting in the right city or what? Or what, I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, and I was just doing some research. The unemployment right now is about 3.4%.
Okay.
For those listeners that may not know what that means, is that 2% of your folks that are unemployed, they're unemployed by choice.
Okay, so some people just don't want to work.
They just don't want to work.
Okay.
And so you have 1.4% that are actually on the market.
That's very low.
It's crazy.
So
There's
it's-
more jobs than people.
Right, I was just about to say, so really right now, if listeners are out there and candidates,
Yeah.
it's their time.
It's a job market.
They can't say, why can't I find a job,
Yeah,
right? You know?
absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
Right. And of course, after commercial, we're going to take commercial in a few minutes, but
Okay.
we'll talk more into resumes and what are some of the tips. But the reality is we're in a hot city. We have the ability for people to literally get the job. So
Right.
some of the things that may be happening also out there is people not understanding what it is that they really want, or is it that you see people, the employers not knowing how to find the candidates?
You know, I think it's both. I think that the employers still sometimes think, gosh, you know, there's so many people out there for this job. You know, why
Okay.
are you having difficulty finding
Right.
my purple squirrel?
Right.
And I think the candidates are still trying to, I think it's part of them knowing what they want to be when they grow up. So I think that's part of
Look
it
at
too.
my resume. I finally found it.
You did catch it. I did look at your resume.
You got my.
I do have your resume.
Joe got him in trouble. She's gonna. We talked about it. She'll clean it up. But no.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
to your point.
Yeah.
So people are still trying to figure out what they want. So
True.
sometimes the marriage. And
Yes.
you talked about that.
I did.
I
did.
love that. You want to give that analogy.
I will. You know, in 36 years of staffing, the one thing I think I compare it to is
Okay.
that finding a job is like a marriage. I mean, the courting or dating process is the interview process.
Of course.
And then you have the job offer is like the marriage proposal.
Okay.
And then not that you want to go through the divorce, but the divorce is when you give your resignation.
Yes, yes.
So it's all got to fit. You
Right.
know, I mean, just like when you're looking for you're getting married, you're going to make sure that you have the same objectives. Do you want kids? Do you not want kids?
Right. You
What do you
have
want
to
to live in
interview each
Houston?
other.
Do you live in the country?
Right.
Whereas the same thing with looking for a job is, are they going to be paying for my college tuition reimbursement? That's important to me. Are
Right.
they going to be offering me opportunities for growth, or
Sure.
is there no opportunity? So I think that all kind of falls together. So it is just like making a marriage.
Wow.
It's like putting two people
And
together.
so people really need to think about that and
They do.
don't make it so. I think a lot of times people
No.
don't. Oh well, I got to get a job.
Right,
Oh, because I
right.
got to get some money.
Right, right.
But they need to look at it a little bit if they're trying to find something
Yeah.
and connect to something. You have to. That's a very very good analogy. You have to look at it that way, and you have to be able to walk through that process and know that sometimes it's going to work out,
and sometimes it's
and
not.
sometimes it's not. But
Right.
then the beauty is. You've got Medar.
You've got Medar.
And Medar's
That's
got all
right.
the jobs there for you to come out. We're going to take a quick commercial,
Okay.
and when we come back, we're going to dig into resumes
Okay, good.
and how to do some of that. And I hope we don't touch mine. We'll be right back.
We are broadcasting live from the Woodlands, Texas to the world. You're listening to the only multimedia FM station in Houston, Texas. Your Fusion Radio. Top 40s, dance, Latin, country, pop, rock and roll. All in one station. Mixing genres and generations. You're listening to KNLY, New Waverly, Texas. 91.1 FM, The Boss.
Veda's Medical Spa and Wellness Center is a premier wellness center specializing in effective medical interventions to help you look and feel younger. Dr. Nangrani is dedicated to providing unmatched personalized care using a holistic approach that includes sophisticated cosmetic, aesthetic, and anti-aging treatments in a warm and relaxing atmosphere. Combining a medical spa with a wellness center, we ensure the best medical treatments are complemented by specialized holistic healing techniques. Veda's treatments will enhance your natural beauty and never leave you with that done look. Visit us at vedasmedspa.com or call us at 281-298-5476.
If you're tired of wasting your money on makeup bags that were not wide enough and tumbling out your cosmetics, Makeup Junkie bags are here. One of the best cosmetic and travel bags you'll ever own, handcrafted in Texas. You can visit www.makeupjunkiebags.com where you can find our collection of makeup bags, totes, man junk bags, and jewelry bags. But that's not all. These junkie bags are not only for makeup. Visit www.makeupjunkiebags.com and shop all the bags everyone loves. Get one for you, your family, and your friends.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM. It's time to change. If you like country, we play it. If you like pop, we play it. If you like Latin music, we play it. If you like rock and roll, we play it. Because no one does fusion music like we do. 91.1 FM, The Boss.
For fresh flowers fast, call Barb's Iris Floral at 281-820-2294 with excellent customer service since 1983 for weddings, funeral services, sweet 15s, corporate events, and all occasions. For that special someone you love, barbsirisfloral.com and barbsirisfloralboutique.com. Come on in and pick out of our prestigious gallery at 727 Westmont Houston Road, Houston, Texas 77038. Text 832-466-8414. Barb's Iris Floral delivers fresh flowers fast.
This message was from a proud sponsor to KNLY 91.1 FM.
Do you feel that your energy costs are unnaturally high? Do you want to fortify your building and keep it strong and secure for years to come? Then NRG Spray Foam Installation is the answer you're looking for. Our unique foam installation is made to help our customers save in energy, prevent gas, air, and moisture infiltration, as well as helping with general stability in your building structure. Call us at 713-936-3021 or visit us online at nrgfoam.com for more information. NRG Spray Foam. Building green, living green.
This message was from a proud sponsor to KNLY 91.1 FM.
Good morning and welcome back to Today with Cachet. It's Friday, yes it is, and we're talking all about resumes, jobs, and I've got the lovely Linda Fields with Medar Staffing Services. She is the VP of Executive Search, so let's just make sure. I got the lady in the house, okay? So, I'll be sure to listen. 36 years in the business, so if you want to hear some tips today, tune in and listen because she's got them. So we were talking before about the market. Houston's a hot market. Obviously, jobs are plentiful. If you don't have a job, then maybe it's because you haven't been to Medor yet.
Right.
But we're going to dig now into resumes because people out there need to know, right? Like they want to know. So I'm just going to kind of go through some of these questions. You put together some amazing questions here. So let's look at what information would you suggest is very important to be on a resume? Because people write everything. I've done it all.
do.
But what
They do.
are some of the key components that are important to be in there?
Well, you should always have your name, your address,
Yes.
your phone number, and your email.
Yes.
And you would be just shocked. We had this happen yesterday. We had a candidate.
Are you
that-
kidding me?
No.
I should put my name on it?
They did not put an email or a phone number. And I'm like, how do we find this person?
Wow. So
And-
that just and what happens? Be honest. Right then and there, if that person's not considered.
No, you can't find them. So we
It's over.
We hit social media trying to find the individual,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was like crazy.
Yeah.
So I think that it should go without saying,
Okay.
but it doesn't.
Okay.
And I think job title. So many individuals, I see resumes and it has this really weird title. I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
So maybe in parentheses, if your company gave you this strange purple unicorn job title, put something simple that everyone knows what
Something
that
more
means.
concise,
Because you're looking
yeah.
at recruiters and HR and managers who are reading that resume, and if they don't know what that means, they're going to go, yeah, moving on. And education, this is a huge bugaboo with me.
Yeah.
Is if you don't have your degree, then don't list that you do.
Okay.
Don't even
imply
even
it.
if you're working on it and you
Yeah.
anticipate you're graduating
Right.
in 2020, then don't list that.
Okay.
Unless you put anticipated graduation. And I think I think if you remember that if job searching were a dating site, your resume is your profile.
Wow.
So make it simple, make
Yeah.
it where it grabs attention, but it's not like
Right.
I had one the other day, and another true story. It was 20 pages long. 20. I
And
was
just
like,
imagine if you're sitting on a date and you're talking for 20 hours about the guy or the girls are going to go, okay, bye.
Yeah. it was like,
Yeah, exactly.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I think another thing that candidates make the mistake of is they'll put 2019 to 2020 or 2017, but they only really work there for a month. I mean, I kind of recommend put the month and the year so it doesn't give the
Illusion.
illusion that you were there for
a
a
whole
year,
year.
that you were there for just 3 or 4 months. But and I think just make them easy. Make the resume easy to read. You can see it.
Very, very good point. Should people have their hobbies on there? Remember, they used to tell you all the time, what are your hobbies at the very end?
Reading and
cooking,
cooking
dancing.
And no, I think what's more important now is volunteer.
Okay.
You know, if you're very involved with, the Salvation Army or those types of things, I think those are important. That shows what you do outside. You know, your typical, what you're doing, what you're passionate about.
Sure.
So yeah, I think hobbies are, we've gotten away from that, thank gosh.
Okay. And then the format. It used to be, I remember, and you can correct me if it's wrong or right now, it used to be your executive summary needed to be popped right there at the top and then kind of go down and put your, list it. What would you say is kind of the format now? Is that still in play or?
I think that I do get away from objectives. I think objectives, you'd be surprised how often in my 36 years that a company goes, well, yeah, we're going to pass because he says he wants to be blah. I'm like, no.
Oh, that's right. Yes, good
that's
point.
Not true.
Good point.
So I typically will remove
that.
the objective with permission from the candidate because it does kind of narrow, and especially if they're as an example, we had one last week that we had presented them from one job, and they're like, oh my gosh, this person's perfect for this other job that we have. So because the objective wasn't on there, it kind of made, they knew that this person was open, correct.
Okay.
And I think, when you send a resume in now, it goes to a recruiter.
Yep.
Like myself or a recruiter within a company.
Okay.
It goes to human resources, or it may in fact go to the manager. But if your resume's in bullets and it's easy to read and pick up on, very easy, job title's easy, dates are easy, very easy to read what you've done. Maybe you have a section for accomplishments that are there's that if you're applying for a sales position, you've got your sales accomplishments. I think that's really important to have on there.
Oh, so bullets are good.
Bullets are good, but remember that a recruiter is only going to read. I did some research.
I was going to say, how long does it take?
Less than 30 seconds.
I said 10. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 30. Okay.
It's less than 30.
So it could be 10. It could be 10. I was right. Okay. Yeah.
Now that's if a recruiter is looking at it. If a hiring manager is reviewing it, I did poll about 15 of those and just asked that question, and it was kind of all over. Some said less than a minute. Some said up to 2.
Okay.
So you really only have a short period of time to get your resume seen.
Right.
And
so to your point as to why. Take all that fluff out.
It is.
Get to the point.
Yes.
Make it very clear to read because you've got either 30 seconds or up to 2 minutes.
Or it gets canned.
Yeah. And there's so many.
There are. They get hundreds of resumes a day. So they really have to look at all of those resumes and go, okay. And of course, they're on a timeline. So they may have 25 or 30 jobs on their desk.
Sure.
And they're going, yes, no, yes, no.
So you got to
get their attention. Almost like a dating profile. Got to get their attention.
Hey. Okay. So the other thing I would say is, someone out there like a cachet who has done so many different things, and their resume could be maybe 3 pages.
Yes.
What do you do? Like, how many is too many, and how many would you suggest is a good standard amount to have, and how many years do you go back?
I knew you would ask that question, and that is such a tough question because it depends on the experience.
Okay.
In other words, if you've worked for one company for 10 years, where you are now, and the previous company you were there for just say 5, and then before that you were there for maybe. So I think you have to list all 3 companies because you need to go back to show that. Yeah. And also, if you're applying for a position that was 14 years ago, you need to make sure that's on your resume.
Okay.
But again, if you're, you've had this job for 2, and this job for 3, and this job for 4, maybe you only go back 10 years.
Right.
I think it really depends on the job you're applying for.
Okay.
But again, don't go back to puberty.
Right.
Just go. Just.
We don't need to know you worked at Target when you were 12, and when you weren't supposed to at that age.
Exactly.
Anyway, something like that. I hear your point. And here's another one I just thought of that. Would you suggest to candidates to have ready to go 3 different versions? Let's say, for example, they've had a sales background, they've had an engineering background, and they've been a lawyer. Is it okay to have 3 different styles so that if they're applying to one direction, they can have that go? Or would you just say, really have one good one that encompasses it all?
Well, I think it goes back again to you're looking at recruiters who are going to look at your resume for less than 30 seconds, and they're going to be looking for key bullet points or a manager. So I think it's acceptable to have that because you could be that your focus in this job was so much on maybe sales and networking, and then the other job you had was more business development. So I think that you could focus on that, and I think that's a good deal. But just make sure that I always share this is make sure that that your resume has integrity.
Okay.
That it is exactly what it says it is.
Very good point. Very good point. And let's talk a little bit about LinkedIn profiles. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Which ones are important? Which ones aren't important? And how should we be handling all that stuff?
You know,
there's a lot out there now with
it's
social media.
a lot.
I mean,
a really dear friend of mine, with Matter actually, shared with me many years ago, and I asked her that very same question. She said, "Think of LinkedIn as the office." And think of all of the social media as a picnic.
Okay.
So for LinkedIn, it should always be business.
Okay.
And I will tell you, when I'm working with the C-level executive or I'm working for a company sourcing for a C-level, they are looking at my LinkedIn page.
Okay.
So I think it's really important that you use LinkedIn.
Okay.
Social media, I'm going to just share, I think your social media needs to be clean.
Okay.
Make sure it's clean.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell that story you talked
Please,
about earlier.
go ahead.
Is we had a candidate getting a job offer, very high-level job offer.
Okay.
And the president of the company called me and said, "Gosh, Linda, don't make the offer." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I mean, we're ready. We've been doing this for like a month and a half." He goes, "Yeah, I'm going to cut and paste to you what I found on their social media profile."
Wow.
And it was bashing their previous employer. And not, you think that person would be smarter than that, but they did
Wow.
it. And so just make sure that your social media is clean. Your LinkedIn also, if you are out there looking for a job, in LinkedIn there's an area to select that says open a new opportunity, so someone like me can see that you're open to new opportunities. So I think that it's important to use LinkedIn. I think that especially even depending on your role, most companies are going to go and look at your profile. And because they can find out they can find out so much about you just by looking at that profile that may or may not be on your resume.
Well, it goes back to the times we're in.
Yes.
Social media.
Yes.
That's the one they're going to go to. If they don't want to look at the paper, or if they even do, they're still going to go back to the computer side of things and social and see something on there. So it's very important to have it. So, have a concise, get to the point resume, make yourself stand out. You only got a few seconds or so to get in there, and make sure your LinkedIn profile is on par. Put the work in is what I'm hearing up front. Do everything up front. Get it together.
Right.
And so you're ready to go.
Absolutely.
Don't wait.
And make sure that your LinkedIn profile is a nice picture, professional. Again, social media is a picnic. Social media is a picnic, but LinkedIn is really the office. It's not where you're all dressed up to go fishing. It's the office, and you see a lot of that.
You have to project.
You do,
right? Perception is reality.
It is.
And there's the market. There's so many candidates. It's so easy to say, go to the next.
Yeah,
and
it
even
is.
though you may be the right candidate, you could sometimes get overlooked. And so, okay. You got a kind of idea how to do the resume. We're good to go. Did y'all hear? She's got you on par. So how many boards or how many, where should our resume go? Should I be the person that's calling and directly to a company all day long? Should I have it on boards? Should it be everywhere? What would you suggest to people?
I think that job boards are good.
Okay.
I think that, but if you're going to put it on a job board, be selective.
Okay.
And do the legwork. The legwork meaning, fill out the paperwork. It's almost like I'm going to go back to dating again.
Okay.
Like a dating profile
No,
site.
this is great analogy.
If you list, gosh, I love to camp, and you really hate camping, that person's going to see your profile and go, oh my gosh, it's a camper. So list what's important on your profile that you want. List the types of jobs you want to hear about.
Okay.
And then, I always tell individuals this, and it's the toughest thing to remember, is that looking for a job is a job.
Right.
And if you are unemployed, you should get up just like you were going to work and have that cup of coffee and hit that computer.
Sure.
And if you're employed, I think it's perfectly acceptable to find a specific time to always look, because you never know when that person's going to find your email or whether your job on LinkedIn and going to reach out to you. I mean, you'd be surprised at how many folks that are looking for a job. It's been a month and a half. They go, hey, about 6 weeks ago, you emailed me about this job. Well, gosh, that's been 6 weeks ago.
Right.
So find a
they
specific
sometimes
time.
aren't on it right away.
No.
And you're thinking, God, they forgot about me. No, they didn't forget. They just weren't. They were doing other things. So always keep your information up to date. If something changes, your emails, always on par with that. And the other thing I guess I would ask is when you're completing or you're getting, and you're finishing your resume, you got it out on the boards, you're calling, and let's talk about how the staffing firm, how Medor comes into play. Because a lot of times people have these illusions or, disillusions or whatever you want to call it, that, well, if I call the staffing, or are they going to pick me? educate them. What happens behind the scenes there, and when someone sends a resume to you?
Well, when we get, a couple things a staffing firm does is we do make your, we make it easier for you. So basically, if you send your
Seamless,
resume to
yes.
Matter, let's say that we have a position that we've advertised on one of the websites, and you send us your resume.
Okay.
What we're going to do is, and our tagline is, we are the people who know the people you need to know, and that's who we are. So when you send us your resume, we're going to look at it. We're going to help you tweak it.
Okay.
We're going to help you make maybe perhaps some changes to it to make it easier to read,
Okay.
give you some recommendations, maybe help pull out information that should be on it that you've left off.
Okay.
We're going to, I think the big thing we do, we'll talk about that later, I know,
Sure.
is we prepare you for the interview.
Okay.
And we ask all those tough questions
Right.
to help you prepare for the interview.
Which is huge.
It is huge, and the difference in a job board and with a staffing firm is with a job board, you're one of hundreds of individuals
Right.
who are applying for the job. With a staffing firm, you're one of probably 10 that's going to be presented.
Right.
So when we present you to a company, we typically never present more than about 10 resumes.
Right.
Because they're qualified.
Right.
So we're going to make sure it's a good fit for you.
Right.
It's a good location, the salary's in line, like with the marriage, what are your objectives, what's your work-life balance. We're going to have all those questions answered for you. So when we present your resume, we know we made a good fit.
And let alone the fact that you just said you're connected to 500 other
Yes.
staffing agencies. You have
Yes.
relationships 36 years. So how can anyone combat that? You know what I
Right,
mean? It would.
right.
There's no way. So it only makes sense. It's ludicrous not to.
And going
Yeah.
back to job boards, if you're currently employed, it takes a lot of time to go through those job boards. You're getting 50, 100 alerts a day and going, oh, I don't like this job, but this job is crazy. Why did I get this alert? So it does make it easier working with the staffing firm is that we kind of navigate the process for you.
Awesome. Well, let's take a commercial.
Okay.
Look, she's got everybody ready to go. We're going to go to a commercial. When we come back, we're going to talk about the interview.
Okay.
Okay. We'll be right back.
We are broadcasting live from the Woodlands, Texas to the world. You're listening to the only multimedia FM station in Houston, Texas. Your Fusion Radio. Top 40s, dance, Latin, country, pop, rock and roll. All in one station. Mixing genres and generations. You're listening to KNLY, New Waverly, Texas. 91.1 FM, The Boss.
If you're tired of wasting your money on makeup bags that were not wide enough and tumbling out your cosmetics, Makeup Junkie bags are here. One of the best cosmetic and travel bags you'll ever own, handcrafted in Texas. You can visit www.makeupjunkiebags.com where you can find our collection of makeup bags, totes, man junk bags, and jewelry bags. But that's not all. These junkie bags are not only for makeup. Visit www.makeupjunkiebags.com and shop all the bags everyone loves. Get one for you, your family, and your friends.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
Wellness Center is a premier wellness center specializing in effective medical interventions to help you look and feel younger. Dr. Nangrani is dedicated to providing unmatched personalized care using a holistic approach that includes sophisticated cosmetic, aesthetic, and anti-aging treatments in a warm and relaxing atmosphere. Combining a medical spa with a wellness center, we ensure the best medical treatments are complemented by specialized holistic healing techniques. Veda's treatments will enhance your natural beauty and never leave you with that done look. Visit us at vedasmedspa.com or call us at 281-298-5476.
It's time to change. If you like country, we play it. If you like pop, we play it. If you like Latin music, we play it. If you like rock and roll, we play it. Because no one does fusion music like we do. 91.1 FM, The Boss.
This is E.L. Crane of Real Estate U here each and every Saturday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on 91.1 FM The Boss. Remember, that's Real Estate U. Insightful, informative, and a little humor tossed in. Real Estate U, listening live, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. each and every Saturday at 91.1 The Boss.
Do you feel that your energy costs are unnaturally high? Do you want to fortify your building and keep it strong and secure for years to come? Then NRG Spray Foam Insulation is the answer you're looking for. Our unique foam insulation is made to help our customers save in energy, prevent gas, air, and moisture infiltration, as well as helping with general stability in your building structure. Call us at 713-936-3021 or visit us online at nrgfoam.com for more information. NRG Spray Foam. Building green, living green.
This message was from a proud sponsor to KNLY 91.1 FM.
Good morning and welcome back. We are talking, yes we are, it is Friday and we're talking all about jobs, resumes, the interviews, what to do, not to do. Well, actually, we're about to get into interviews. But so if you were listening earlier, we have the wonderful Linda Fields with Medar Staffing Services, who is the VP of Executive Search in the studio this morning, helping us. 36 years of experience, yes it is. But anyway, we were talking all about how to prepare our resume, like what to do, how should it look, and then where to put it, right? Okay, so we've done that. Right? Now it's time for the interview, right? So how do you prepare? Like, is there any key things? I walked into your, and you said, okay, Cachet, what would you tell me?
Well, I'm going to go back to the dating thing.
Okay.
It's almost like, and I keep talking about that, but it's almost like your first date. On your first date, you're gonna look at the profile again of the person that you're meeting. You're going to Google who they are. You're going to look the best you have. You're going to do some research. You're going to spend some time.
Okay.
You're not going to walk in there with bed hair. And so I think that's the same thing with an interview. I think that you have to take those steps.
Yes.
Get on the website.
Yeah.
You'll review the website. Know where you're going, who you're talking with. I will never forget an individual I interviewed came in a few years back, and she said, well, I understand that you guys have one location. I was like, no, we have 5.
Oh, you can't.
And so at that point, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to hire her.
Yeah.
Because she hadn't done her research. So I think you do the research. I think you review your resume again because to make sure you know what's on it.
Okay.
An interview is a conversation. It's having fun. You need to be prepared with the names and titles of those you're interviewing with.
Yeah.
Need to go into LinkedIn, look them up on LinkedIn, print it out. I always recommend this, even if my C-level executives, take your resume, compare it to the job description, and highlight those areas that fit, that match.
Which is very important.
And I think those are all part of preparing for the interview.
Right.
And I think if you skip any of those steps, you've just kind of shot yourself in the foot.
Well, sure, because that's the day.
Yeah,
you've done all of the homework, as you would say, and now you're on your date.
Yeah, you're on your date.
You're on your date.
Yeah.
You're there
You're in the courtship.
at the moment. You've done your hair. You got your stuff together. You know who you are. Now's the time to deliver. Right? And so when you're in there, people ask the question, someone they say to you, do you have any questions?
Right.
You got to have some questions, right? You can't say, no, I don't have you've answered everything.
Yeah.
I'm happy. Thank you.
I'm going. I really, I think there's great questions to ask. The way I'm talking with a candidate. Well, first of all, another thing to remember is when you go for the interview is don't bring that big purse. Don't bring that huge set of keys.
God, yes.
Because you're just going to jangle around. Don't put your phone on vibrate because it's very distracting.
Very good point.
It's and I will tell you a story. I had a candidate. It's been a few years back, and she was interviewing with the VP of HR, and her phone rang. And she answered the phone, and she took...
No, she did
Yes,
not.
she did. And she took another interview with another company.
No, she did not.
And she got through, and she said, oh, and what was your question again? And my VP called later, and he's like, okay, she's not getting hired. And it's just...
The stuff
I was just... And I even called her and said, oh, my gosh, did you really do that?
Yeah, that's like one for the book.
Well, don't answer it. But it's just, don't even bring your phone with you. Just lock everything in the car.
Yeah. And here's another one I thought about. I learned also is when you walk in the front office, do not discount the receptionist.
No.
You know that, right?
No.
Do not discount. So don't walk in and go, okay, yes, I need to see such and such.
Yes.
Yeah, can you get I'll get a call.
Yeah.
The receptionist in a lot of cases is the teller.
Yes.
That is the mole. So be very careful when you walk in to not.
Yeah. You'd be surprised how many companies will call me and go, yeah, she was rude to the receptionist, or yeah, she walked in and she was talking so loud on her phone. Yep. I'm thinking, oh my gosh. Yep. But I think getting back to questions is that I think that job description that you've been given, that you've reviewed, that could have been written 10 years ago.
Right.
The hiring manager who maybe knew, he had not even read that job description. So I think it's important to outline and highlight those areas that Mitch.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a couple of questions I just always suggest that you ask, and one is, what is cachet, what do you believe is probably the most important function of this role?
All right.
And then let you tell me that, because that's where I'm getting to the meat and potatoes, because
right.
you're telling me, well, I really want someone who can do this.
Right. So know that answer.
Don't
just walk in and go, I want it.
Yeah.
Be
What's
prepared.
Yep.
To be asked those specifics and have an answer. Okay.
And I think it's important to find out sometimes that the hiring manager has already identified some projects.
Right.
He's going to want this person to perform.
Okay.
And that's also a great time to go, are there any specific, if I were to be hired,
right,
are there any specific projects that you might give me early in my career?
Right.
And he may go, well, yeah, I'd like to have you focus on this. And you go, gosh, I've done that before, and here's where I've done that.
Right.
I always, I tell the story all the time, is that, don't look at the job description and just go off that.
Right.
Find out what they're looking for. And it's almost like the Christmas wish list. What is on their Christmas wish list? I have 2 granddaughters. And I remember when they were much younger, before Amazon, by the way, I would give them a Thanksgiving newspaper with all these markers and say, mark off what you want for Christmas.
Okay.
And I remember taking them to buy everything Black Friday. I remember the next Saturday taking them to see Santa Claus.
Right.
And them telling Santa Claus all these things that they wanted.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, I didn't buy those things. We got back in the car, and I was like, hey, I didn't know that you wanted this and this. And they were like, oh, that's not for you. That's for Santa Claus. So I think that's what you've got to get to, is what's on their Santa Claus wish list. Because they know what they want.
They know what they want.
They do.
Get to it.
Mm-hmm. Get to it and then talk about it.
Right. Learn how to interview the interviewer and understand what they're really wanting. If you can master that and ask the right questions, then you can really understand. I totally agree with that. And so, are there some questions you should steer away from? They're like, just don't ask?
Yeah, I think that, and you've got to be careful who you ask questions of. In some cases, if you're talking with, let's say that's a panel interview, you've got the VP of HR, you've got the hiring manager, you've got a coworker. You want to be asking each of them some questions, and of course identifying them by name.
Right.
But you want to make sure that you steer away from questions such as salary, hours, vacation,
vacation,
time off.
That's a great
work-life balance.
Yeah.
I mean, those are all great questions.
Yeah.
But they're
not the time.
They're not for now. Right now, your job is to sell yourself.
Yeah.
And I think it's like we were talking earlier.
Yeah.
Is this a job for you?
Right.
Do you want it?
Yeah.
And can you do it? And if it's not, well, the interview's really not going to go any further anyway.
Right. Yeah, don't try to put yourself somewhere and push something.
Right.
Because it's going to come out later. It's not going to work out.
Well, yeah.
The relationship's not going to work out.
No, it's not.
If you tell something that's not true, or, to your point, I love that. And so I think this is a really good one nowadays. Has it changed? What do you wear? I mean, years ago, it used to be, if you didn't walk in the blue suit or the gray one, what were you thinking?
And the hose, the ladies,
and the hose, and you walked a certain way.
Yeah.
I mean,
had the suit on, a little tie. Yeah.
What is it today? I mean, what's acceptable? Depending, I guess, on the role. But
it depends on the role.
But I mean, like if someone's applying for, I guess, from a C level to an administration, is there a certain?
I think for your C levels, you always want to wear a suit. I think that just goes without saying. But I think that for everyone else, I think that I think the least you should wear is going to be slacks, a nice pair of shoes, and maybe a button-up with a sports coat. Tie optional, but I think always slacks and a button-up for your gentlemen. For the ladies, again, slacks and a nice top with a sweater maybe, or a dress.
Okay.
I think, and of course, another story. I told a candidate one time it was casual, and I've learned all this. I've learned so much in 36 years.
No, they didn't wear flip-flops.
Oh, she did. She had the cutest flip-flops.
Okay, see, I didn't even know that story.
And she had a hat on. And a floppy hat.
Okay.
And she had on like a little blouse that would be like a Hawaiian blouse.
Oh my God.
And so, but I learned
casual's different.
Casual's different for everybody. So you have to, and I think go a step further. What I do is I ask them, well, what are you planning on wearing?
Right.
So I think that, you know what your mom always taught you is you never get that second chance to make that first impression.
Right. So always go. Mm-hmm. Go best.
Go best.
Why? I mean, you're going for a job, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Right.
Here's a one that I always, if I'm hiring somebody, what's most important to me, but what would you say as far as looking as someone walks in, and how important is a candidate's background and experience versus whether they were going to fit the culture, do you think, to an employer and a candidate? For example, they say you walk in a particular position that the employer is looking to hire. The candidate has 100% the experience, but their personality with that team of 100 is just going to be completely different versus the candidate that has 50% of the experience, but the personality is going to jive, and they're going to do. Talk to people a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think it's really important.
I got, let me go where I'm saying with that. I had the perfect background, but I didn't get hired.
Right.
That's where I'm going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that companies, it's become more and more about the culture now.
Okay.
And I'll give you an example. When I, at one time at Meta, was hiring for sales folks.
Okay.
I never hired a salesperson. I don't care how qualified they were.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't buy from them.
Yeah.
So I think that companies recognize that they can't teach you how to be assertive and outgoing and have enthusiasm and go the extra mile. They can't teach that. That's either you have that or you don't. Right. And so I think they're looking more at, what can I teach you? I can teach you. You have this piece, but not this piece.
Right. Very good point.
And I think that's really important when you're interviewing. Is if they say, "Well, Linda, we're really looking for someone who has this experience." Well, I don't have that, but here's what I do have. And they're looking for people that fit. It's with all the. They look for someone that's going to fit within their culture. That's going to be the apple and to their apple cart, not going to be that plum.
Right.
They want that person that's going to be an asset. So I think that culture is important, but I think they really look at, is it going to be a fit? Because if you're not the right personality,
I'd agree. That was what I was going to say, because at the end of the day, you want someone who you can actually grow with, right? I mean, because the skills can be taught as long as they can be taught.
Yep.
And then one more in that area would be. So they told you, okay, thank you, great interview. We'll be following up. Should you call them 100 times? Should you be sending them emails all day? What's that follow-up process should be like?
And because they call me as a recruiter, and my phone rings like crazy, or my emails go crazy.
So you're going to answer that?
I do. I think it's important. I think that first phone call is important. That first email. Okay. I think you can do an email, you can mail it.
The follow-up.
Email gets there fast, and they're always on their email.
Okay.
I think that first email of a nice, brief, thank you note's really important. But I also think part of it is, if you wait about 7 days and you haven't heard anything, I think it's fine to maybe drop it in the email or pick up the phone and call, but ask those questions. I don't want to. When's the next time I should call? Or when do you anticipate having an answer?
Right.
And they'll say, "Gosh, we're going to have a meeting February the 1st. We'll know more then." Then don't call till February the 1st. But I think it's asking. With the staffing firm working with Better, we're going to pass your thank you note along, and we're going to tell you, here's when we're going to know something. Don't worry, we're not going. They're meeting next Monday. They're meeting in 2 weeks, or that. So then they're going to know when they're going to have an answer.
And that's a great point, because people sometimes think, well, there's been that saying of, I've got to show I'm assertive a little bit, because they want me to. I'm in sales. They want to know. Well, yeah, they want to know that I did a little bit more than just the interview. So I got to make that call. But there's a delicate dance of how much of that you do, because the reality is, when they want you,
they're going to call you.
The agency will call you like quicker than you can. They will hunt you down.
Provide every phone number.
Providing your phone number, they will hunt you down.
Yeah, they will.
So you don't have to worry about that.
That's
People
right.
think sometimes that they're being dodged. Or, trust me, no, right?
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
And remember that sometimes it's so many other people or players are part of the process.
Yeah.
It's not just the individual you interview with. It could be you're waiting on the offer letter to get signed by the VP. Yeah. But again, I think it does go back to what is really important is do send that thank you note.
Okay.
I think that companies still look at that. They still like that.
Yeah.
I think that it's short and sweet. Don't write a letter.
Don't beg again.
Don't beg.
Just tell them thank you and you appreciate
Look forward to hearing back from you.
Right.
But that's kind of what I think.
Sounds good. I'll tell you what. We're going to take a quick commercial, and then we'll come back and do job offers and resignations.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Okay.
We are broadcasting live from the Woodlands, Texas to the world. You're listening to the only multimedia FM station in Houston, Texas. Your Fusion Radio. Top 40s, dance, Latin, country, pop, rock and roll. All in one station. Mixing genres and generations. You're listening to KNLY, New Waverly, Texas. 91.1 FM, The Boss.
Veda's Medical Spa and Wellness Center is a premier wellness center specializing in effective medical interventions to help you look and feel younger. Dr. Nangrani is dedicated to providing unmatched personalized care using a holistic approach that includes sophisticated cosmetic, aesthetic, and anti-aging treatments in a warm and relaxing atmosphere. Combining a medical spa with a wellness center, we ensure the best medical treatments are complemented by specialized holistic healing techniques. Veda's treatments will enhance your natural beauty and never leave you with that done look. Visit us at vedasmedspa.com or call us at 281-298-5476.
If you're tired of wasting your money on makeup bags that were not wide enough and tumbling out your cosmetics, Makeup Junkie bags are here. One of the best cosmetic and travel bags you'll ever own, handcrafted in Texas. You can visit www.makeupjunkiebags.com where you can find our collection of makeup bags, totes, man junk bags, and jewelry bags. But that's not all. These junkie bags are not only for makeup. Visit www.makeupjunkiebags.com and shop all the bags everyone loves. Get one for you, your family, and your friends.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM. It's time to change. If you like country, we play it. If you like pop, we play it. If you like Latin music, we play it. If you like rock and roll, we play it. Because no one does fusion music like we do. 91.1 FM, The Boss.
For fresh flowers fast, call Barb's Iris Floral at 281-820-2294 with excellent customer service since 1983 for weddings, funeral services, sweet 15s, corporate events, and all occasions. For that special someone you love, barbsirisfloral.com and barbsirisfloralboutique.com. Come on in and pick out of our prestigious gallery at 727 Westmont Houston Road, Houston, Texas 77038. Text 832-466-8414. Barb's Iris Floral delivers fresh flowers fast.
This message was from a proud sponsor to KNLY 91.1 FM.
Do you feel that your energy costs are unnaturally high? Do you want to fortify your building and keep it strong and secure for years to come? Then NRG Spray Foam Insulation is the answer you're looking for. Our unique foam insulation is made to help our customers save in energy, prevent gas, air, and moisture infiltration, as well as helping with general stability in your building structure. Call us at 713-936-3021 or visit us online at nrgfoam.com for more information. NRG Spray Foam. Building green, living green.
This message was from a proud sponsor to KNLY 91.1 FM.
Welcome back to Today with Cachet. We are talking resumes, we're talking jobs, we're talking all that stuff. And we've got the wonderful Linda Fields with Medar Staffing Services, who is the VP of Executive Search, here to just kind of give us the ins and outs.
Yeah.
I mean, I think after today, people need to know that they don't have excuses anymore.
There you go.
Okay, so now we need to dig into job offers. Mm-hmm. Let's do it. Let's do it. Everything, we're ready to go. We've got a resume. We're out there. The offer comes in. Mm-hmm. What should be the questions that are, once they've received the offer, ask? Mm-hmm. I mean, what's that number one question they should ask?
Well, there's so many, but I think that you need to be asking, now's the time to ask those questions.
Right.
You know, go over vacation policy, go over your 401k, if you have retirement, what the holidays are. That's a perfect time to have those conversations. And I think that that's the conversations that you should be having. You don't want to start the job and then go, you only have 1 week's vacation.
Now's the time.
Now's the time.
You can dig.
You've got the offer.
They want you.
They want you. They made that decision, and now it's deciding, and that's where that culture fit comes in. Is this a fit for you? Is it fit for you and the company?
Right.
And you've got, and then now, because once you start and sign the dotted line, you're there.
You're
and
there.
it's not the time to, it's kind of like buying a house.
Wait.
Yeah.
You mean once you got married and you
Yeah,
got married and you signed it?
You're like,
you can't say, oh, wait, I think I changed my mind. I want John instead of Bob. Okay.
Oh, you want 9 kids or you want 1 kid?
Okay.
So, yeah. So you
Got
only
it.
have to do those
Okay,
things.
okay,
And
okay.
I do look at that like kind of like the marriage proposal. Now
Okay,
you've got it.
okay.
And I think that part of it is, you know, and once you sign the offer, and I do think that it's important to, and be graceful how you handle those questions.
Oh, yes.
You know, because, you know, if you have 2 weeks, can I negotiate 3? If the salary's 105, can we look at 107? And again,
Come on.
when you work at the staffing
Yeah,
firm, we do all these things for you.
yeah.
So you haven't got to do that yourself. We negotiate we kind of let you keep your hands clean.
Basically, you're saying once you've gotten to that point,
Yep.
don't go back going, well, I know I said 110, but
really
can I get
want-
112?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
come on.
You got to be real
Yeah,
sincere, because
yeah.
the company can just as easily rescind that job offer. They can take it away. Go,
Remember,
yeah,
there's a lot of candidates.
there is. We don't want you.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you don't, again, you don't have to sign it right away.
Right.
But what's about a good time frame? 48 hours? 3, yeah.
Well, in this economy, typically I was just talking with someone about this recently, is that every offer I've made, I've had they've already had 2 or 3 other offers. So, because they're very in demand, a lot of candidates, especially the jobs that we've been recently working on. So I think that it's important to let that employer know.
Yeah.
Like whenever I make an offer to a candidate, I'm going to go, okay, now how much time do you need to think about this?
Right.
And then typically they'll say, well, gosh, can I look it over the weekend? Absolutely.
Yes.
And then on Monday, can we regroup? And and they may say, well, gosh, they only give 2 weeks vacation. Can we negotiate 3? I was really hoping to get this amount.
Yeah.
And so it's great. So I think it's important to share.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like no more than 72
Never.
hours
Yeah, I would say
is the max.
72 hours to come back with maybe your first questions.
Okay.
If you have questions.
Okay.
And typically most companies in writing will typically give you 3 days in most cases, unless you ask for more.
Yeah.
And I think if you do need more time, that's a great time to ask for it.
Okay.
I'd like to have a couple days think about this, and my
Sure.
wife's out of town. Whatever it is.
Go ahead and get that out there if it needs to go
Especially if it's a
longer.
relocation, you want to have a conversation with with the family.
And stuff like that. And obviously, companies are still checking references.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah. And for the audience,
Yeah.
just so you know, yes, they check references. They are going to check personal references,
Okay.
business, verify your dates, verify
Okay.
your education. Yes, they verify education. So, I just was at a customer's office yesterday who shared he was hiring an individual, or he was going to, and they were checking his high school education. And he said, true story, he said, oh, I'm 54 years old. You're going to check my high school?
Seriously?
And they're like, well, yeah, that's part of our policy.
Wow.
He said, oh, I don't have a high school diploma. But you put it on your application. He said, I don't have one. So
no.
just, and I did ask the customer the question yesterday. I said, so had he
my-
told you he didn't, would you have hired him? They said, yeah, we would have. It was the fact that he didn't share until we got the offer.
It's stuff.
So
That's why
it's the
back to
little
the
things.
very beginning, what you said about the resume and you've got to make sure everything is honest and thorough and done to the T. So when you get to this point, you're not in trouble.
You're there, and just like your dates, if you have the wrong
range.
years, and they're going to go, well, wait a second, you said you worked there. These dates are wrong. So just remember that maybe every company might not check that, but a big majority. If you're with a staffing firm, we try to always. That's what we do. That's part of the service we provide for our customers. We do verify that.
Yeah. So, and here's a good one. So let's say Cachet has 7 job offers on the table.
Yes.
Yeah, multiple. What do you do to those candidates that say, okay, I did my homework. I, got everything out. Now I've got 3 good ones. How do I handle these multiple offers? What do we do? That's tricky.
It is tricky.
Yeah.
And usually what I will have them do is sit down and look at, and that's where everything comes into play.
Yeah.
Is there a bonus? What's the hours? Is there travel?
Try to match yourself.
Trying to match everything. What's the cost of the insurance? And it really typically, and I always share with them, don't ever let it be about the money. If you're
Very
looking to
good
make a
point.
job change for money, ask for just go to your boss and ask right now for an increase, but never let it be just about the money, because there needs to be something else, maybe opportunity or growth or whatever that may be.
Sure.
But I always tell them to get a spreadsheet
Right?
and put your pros and cons.
Okay.
Here's what this one has, and at the very end of the day, it's where do you see yourself?
Yeah.
What job do you see yourself in? Because it is about the people. It is
Right.
about the location and those things. And what job do you really have your heart set on?
Well, that's a good point, because at the end of the day, you've got to look at the whole picture. If you're just looking at just the number or just the name of the company or just this, that's
Right.
not enough. You haven't done it. Look at the whole package and know where you match. Know yourself and know where you can go and take it.
And
And
absolutely.
run and don't look back.
Hey, there you go.
And go make something happen.
There you go.
Okay,
Absolutely.
I like that. Okay, so they took the job. Life is great. They got married. Everything's going well. But for some reason, 2 years in, it's just not working. It's time for them to move on. I mean, they got another offer 2 years later that came in better. Their experience has changed.
Right.
They thought it was going to be a happy marriage, and it wasn't.
Right.
So how should they handle that notice? And how, what would you say to someone out there right now who's thinking about that and turning in a notice?
You know, I think that you have to always make sure that you are very gracious to, turning it. And remember that company, if you're a good employee, they're going to counter. They're going to make a counter offer. They're going to try to keep you.
They sure will.
So you have to remember that that's why it can't be about the money. If it's about the money, you should have just gone and asked for more.
Love that. Love that.
Get that part over. So
Just
when,
ask.
when the counter offer comes in, you go, wait a second, I wasn't worth this last week, and now I'm worth this much more. I mean, whoa, wait a second. So I think, but don't burn that bridge, because that job might not be what you thought it was. The grass really was not green over there.
Yeah.
And you want to come back, and so you want to make sure you're leaving really good.
Always leave the door way to come back.
Absolutely.
Because in the market, you will say this, right?
Yes.
So many people move around.
They do.
And you may realize 2 years later that same employer is somewhere else now,
Yes.
and you're like sitting in front of them to interview, and you're like, oh, I told you something. Yeah.
Yep. Maybe you're like an elephant. They don't forget.
So always do that. And remember, you need them references, right?
You do. and you know, and I think that so many times when your new employer says, oh gosh, can you start on Monday? And you're like, oh yeah, let me check. You know, don't do that.
Don't rush.
Yeah, don't rush. I mean, do right by your employer. Give them that good notice. And typically 2 weeks is acceptable.
I was going to ask you that. Is the 2 weeks still standard?
It really is.
Okay.
In some cases,
Okay.
if you're at a slow pace, and it may be less, or if you're a C-level executive, it could be you give a 1 month notice.
Yeah.
It could be you had a huge project, like a person we
Sure.
just placed as a project that was 6 months almost to completion. The company says, "We'll wait."
Right.
So I think that you have to make that decision. And I think that's a conversation you have with your employer.
Yeah.
Here's what's going on.
Yeah, and then we don't have a lot of times, but I remember when I was, years back, and I had a situation where I had a counter offer.
Yeah.
I turned it, and they came back, my current employer.
Yeah.
He said, okay. The other company came back over the weekend and said, we want you to start Monday. What will it take? I then went back to and I started crying, telling him, he says, well, and he said, you know what, Cache, you have potential. You need to go and you need to grow. But you don't want to get caught up in all that. But how do you deal with those counter offers? I mean, now you've turned it in. The current employer came back and said, okay, we're going to match it.
Right.
You go back to the other employer and say, okay, I'm just saying. They come back to you and say, well, no, we're taking you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a dance. It's a dance.
And it's a dance you don't want to have to dance.
Yeah.
And I'll just tell you, I'm not a fan of counter offers.
Okay.
Because I believe if you're changing for reasons of the location, the role, the opportunity, then why take the counter offer? And gosh, if you were worth that today that you gave your notice, why weren't you worth it yesterday?
Yeah, I love that.
I'm like, so I think, so I'm an honorable fan of them.
Okay, and you know that because, like you said, you've been doing this for so long. And if you did the due diligence before, you just said you've gone through it, you know what you want, you know your numbers. If you're content, if you're really content, go.
Yeah.
Don't be the squirrely brain.
Yeah,
go back and forth and back and forth.
Absolutely.
Take it and run with it. So let's talk a little bit more about now that everyone's hearing this.
Yeah.
Okay, they're ready to go. Now they need to get to Meet Our Staffing, and there's 5 locations.
There are.
So let's talk a little bit about Meet Our Staffing Service and how people can get a hold of you. And go from there,
Absolutely. Well, you can go to our website and apply online.
Okay.
And there's our phone numbers up there. Please give us a call.
Okay.
We do have 5 locations. We have 4 in the south. We have 1 here in the Woodlands, right where we are, just down the road.
Right.
And of course, you can always just drop us a quick email through our website online. We would love to have you as a candidate, anyone that's looking for a job, because the market is so wonderful right now. It is just so great.
So it's definitely a candidate's market.
It is. Even if you just want a temporary job, you're looking for temp, are you looking for something on a professional basis, direct hire?
Okay.
We can help you.
And it's always good to also go ahead, let's say they're not looking right away, but they know they're going to potentially throw their resume out to you, get yourselves in the system. Would you say to people, doesn't hurt to have themselves already in conversations with you guys?
Well, yeah, depending on the level of job you have,
Right.
it could take 6 months to find the right job for you. And if you're looking to go to work temporary, we can put you to work pretty fast.
Right.
Temporary or light industrial or even professional contract, those jobs move pretty fast. But your direct hire is a little bit slower.
Sure.
To find that right, again, it goes back to being a marriage.
Okay, you know what I've learned? It's all about a marriage. This is amazing. No, but it's wonderful having you in. I mean, 36 years, okay? She knows it all. This lady knows it all. And call him. Call Meadar, get signed up, register online. 5 agencies all over, 500 connections of staffing agencies that y'all are partners with. So obviously y'all have got tons of jobs and connections.
We do have tons of jobs.
So give you a call.
Please do. Go to our website.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
It's nice. Thank you, Kayshay.
Well, have a great day. We'll see you later. Or great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.